Hey, thank you for tuning in for another video. Very glad to see you again, and I trust that you're glad to see me. So, not going to make this one long, just wanted to give a quick insight. This dawned on my mind. I should have spoken about this in the second to last video that I made, the one about relationships. Some of you who keep up with this channel may know what I'm talking about. So, when I was talking in that video about relationships, I was talking about the relationships we have with others. But one of the most underrated things, or topics rather, is the relationship that we maintain with ourselves. Right? We don't often talk about having a relationship with ourselves because it kind of seems like, I don't know, taboo or obscure, like, or downright weird, right? Like, it's kind of weird to think of yourself as a separate entity. Like, you are yourself, so how could you have a relationship with yourself? And of course, those of you who don't have any sort of qualms with the semantics of this of this phrase, having a relationship with yourself, you get the point. What I'm saying is not so much your conscious self versus your subconscious self, making a distinction between those two. I'm merely saying taking care of yourself, investing in yourself, thinking of yourself as another person, because at the end of the day, yourself is composed of essentially different parts, right? Like, there's the physical aspect of you, which is, your body. There's also your consciousness, which we could call your mind or your soul. And some people would take it even further and say that you have a spiritual existence, or metaphysical existence. But I'm not here to talk metaphysics, spirituality, or being. I'm not here to talk any of that. I'm merely here to talk about living in life, because I think that in the absence of values, in the absence of ideals, in the absence of beliefs, much, if not all, of what we do is rendered void and meaningless. Okay, so when it comes to investing in oneself, of course, we can think about spending time with ourselves, right? And one of the things that my mind immediately drifts to is the practice of meditation, the practice of isolating oneself into solitude. And this especially probably rings true for you if you're an introvert like me, right? But perhaps you're not an introvert and you don't like solitude, you don't like being isolated from others. And that's perfectly okay. There is no one way to go about connecting with yourself. But I think that sometimes some separation from, others in the environment or the world, right, that's constantly stimulating and bombarding us with a bunch of stuff, that is necessary. And so there's just one thing that I want to share with you in this video: writing, keeping a journal, keeping a diary, keeping some sort of notebook or log about your life, of your life. Okay, so this is something most people don't know about me. I'll go ahead and share it in this video. I have, for about 5 years now, been keeping a journal of my life. And in this journal, I basically just write my thoughts, my opinions, my ideas. I write about what's going on in my life, at different points. And let me explain to you why this is so valuable. Okay, so what I've found and what I've learned is that people evolve. I evolve. We all evolve. And that's simply to say that we change. Like, over time, we grow, we learn, we experience, we have ups, we have downs. And to simply have a written account of who you were, in a sense, at a certain point in life, to have a date attached to that, to look back on it, provides the ability to reflect in a way that you cannot do otherwise, right? If think about it like this: if you were to ask yourself, like your present self right now, what was I like 3 years ago? And the only way you were able to conceive that was how you believed you were three years ago. It's not really a reliable source, right? A reliable source would be to go to the person you were 3 years ago. And so when you go back, say 3 years in your journal, right, you can see what the person 3 years ago was thinking, what they were doing, what they believed, and what they were experiencing. And so it's really just it's such a fruitful thing, and so underrated in my opinion. And I don't really know how many people do this, but I, for one, over the past few years, feel incredibly grateful to myself for doing this. And I think that if you haven't already started, then you will one day too. I think that you will feel incredibly grateful to yourself. You owe it to yourself to invest in yourself, to enrich your life, to connect with yourself, to spend time with yourself. And keep in mind that this can also be therapeutic too. Like, there are things that I learned about myself through writing, through expression, the expression of my ideas through writing, that I was totally unaware of, right? And it was through making myself aware that I was able to eventually overcome a lot of things within myself, and still am overcoming within myself. But yeah, just guys, like, I know I'm kind of like all over the place with this presentation, but I really hope that you take what I'm saying to heart, and that you just, don't take my word for it. Try it yourself. See if it works for you. If it doesn't, hey, no big deal. At the end of the day, I'm not going to back down from this opinion that the greatest investment you can ever make is in yourself. You owe it to yourself. You deserve it. At the end of the day, there is no one else that you spend more time with than yourself. Okay? All right. Y'all take care. Be well. Be safe. Hakuna Matata. If you have any thoughts, opinions, questions, critiques, etc., as always, I'd love to hear that. Leave it down in the comment section below. And if you think this would be useful to somebody else, share it, like, whatever. Until next time, bye-bye.